This is part 3 of my dragon drawing series, and today, in this video, I'll be drawing the Hyvill. So let's just get right into it.
Hyvills are medium-sized amphatheres that hunt in packs with deadly determination. They are covered in strong scales and armor plating that make them tough. Hyvills have been spotted living in a range of different climates, some in snowy and high altitudes, and others in scorching hot desert canyons. The Hyvill, no matter the area though, will be aggressive to everyone and everything. Hyvills will only eat meat, but will eat a wide variety of it. It has even been observed that they do not have a preference. If it's meat, they'll eat. They also aren't picky about how old the meat is. Even rotten, maggot-filled corpses will still be gladly gobbled down. The Hyvills have very strong stomach acids, killing any potential disease that could be in the meat. Male Hyvills do not have any breath attack, but the females can shoot acidic saliva. The females are also significantly larger and stronger than the males. They also have sharp poison-tipped spines, lining the already tough armor plating. Even though females have all of this strength, they will normally stay back at the hive and lay eggs. The males will normally be doing all of the hunting and protecting of the female. It's believed that this behavior is due to the females being more rare because eggs are more likely to hatch into males. It's also possible females stay behind to protect the eggs and newborns. Normally, the Hyvill will only live to 20 years. This forces the young Hyvill to mature faster. The young will normally only stay at the nest for 2 years, being protected and fed by the mother. After around 2 years, the young are expected to go out and hunt with the rest of the pack. If the young Hyvill chooses not to hunt, the hive mates will refuse to feed it. This likely results in the rebellious young complying or starving to death. In some scenarios, though, the Hyvill may leave the hive. This happens if a female Hyvill believes that the hive has become too crowded. She may take young Hyvills with her so she can start her own hive. By saving the starved young, it is possible that they may become loyal to the female. In some scenarios, though, the young may still be rebellious. If that is the case, it'll be used as food to sustain some of the hive while the female situates herself. A hive will normally have up to 50 members, with 1 to 5 of them being females. One of these females will normally be considered the queen. The queen of the hive is not picked through age, but is instead picked through strength. Some also believe that the queen of the hive lives longer, but this has not been proven. The only reason some people believe this is because the queens will normally be bigger, but it is possible that they are only bigger since they get the most food. It is difficult and dangerous to study them due to their aggression, especially since they become more aggressive if they're close to the hive. So studying hive life is a bit hard. Although, because they're so aggressive, it has been relatively easy to study their hunting tactics. They aren't picky, so they eat whatever they can hunt. But their diets, skill sets, and tactics have been observed to be different when in other regions. The ones that live in snowy and cold climates may resort to hiding themselves under the snow and pouncing on prey when the animal gets close enough. This has also caused the Hyvills that have lived long enough in the area to develop a lighter coloration to their scales and armor plating. This is so they can conceal themselves better. The Hyvills that live near water, beaches, or small islands have been observed to fish. The tactics and appearance varying in different hives. Some have resorted to diving in the water to find their prey. They have become smaller and now have bigger mouths and wings so they can scoop up more fish. Other Hyvills have developed stronger and longer tail claws to either spear or grab fish right out of the water. The colors of these have shifted to a more sandy color. There's even a hive that lives near a large artificial lake. This lake was not always a lake. It used to be a flowing river, but it changed due to the Hyvill's interference. This young pack first resorted to spearing and grabbing fish in the river, but at some point started to build small dams to make it harder for the fish to swim away. Eventually, they started to collect large rocks and knock down trees to build one big dam. This dam restricted the water from flowing farther down, so it all gathered and formed a lake. This dam also partially functions as a hatchery. Some parts of the dam were hollowed out to hold young and eggs, with the rest of the nest being built connected to the dam, but on land. So far, no special mutations have affected the hive, as it is relatively new and has only gone through 4 generations since splitting off from the original hive it was a part of. Note that the mutations that do take place are small and not super noticeable, other than color change, so most do not consider these a different species or separate evolutions. This is why they are all referred to as a Hyvill and not something else like a snow or sea Hyvill, for example. Even with all Hyvills having different tactics for hunting, they do still have some similarities when hunting certain things. Due to the aggressive nature of the Hyvill and their constant hunger for food, they will sometimes go after other dragons. They may even go after large dragons that most would consider much stronger than the Hyvill. Even with this, the Hyvill will still be able to take down the larger and stronger dragon. This is due to them working in packs and some of their hunting tactics. If the Hyvills are fighting a heavily armored dragon, they will use their tail claw and hook it underneath the armor. After doing this, they will fly straight up while staying hooked on. This is likely to rip the dragon's armor off. The Hyvills are also heavily armored themselves, so they can be thrown around and still get back up. The Hyvill's teeth and claws are also very sharp and able to cut through scales. If necessary, they may attempt to slash multiple wounds into the other dragon and leave. They will continue to stalk the dragon, but will not fully approach. They will wait until the dragon bleeds out or becomes weakened enough from the wounds before approaching again. If the dragon is still strong enough to fight back, the Hyvill will repeat the same process until it dies. The Hyvills may also send one member from the hunting party to go back to the hive for backup, if they deem that taking down the dragon is important. In most scenarios, though, if the dragon becomes too much to deal with, they may just leave it alone. Sometimes the reward is not intriguing enough to make the Hyvills continue the fight. Hyvills may also attack humans. Sometimes they may even go after an entire village. Because of this, there are professional Hyvill hunters that will help fight against the Hyvills, hopefully deterring them from attacking the village. Sometimes, though, the Hyvill will also be hunted for sport, or to be harvested for resources. Because the Hyvills have tough armor and sharp claws and teeth, they'll be used for making armor pieces and weapons. Their teeth are sometimes used to make arrowheads, and their claws are used for making daggers and curved swords. Their scales are good for helmets, shoulder armor, and back armor. Sadly, the meat of the Hyvill is not good to eat, so the meat is likely to go to waste. Most say that it is tough and tasteless, but any bits that do have flavor apparently are bitter and smell like rotten meat. People with weak stomachs are also likely to become sick from eating the meat. This also means that most dragons will not hunt the Hyvill due to the unappealing meat. Some dragons, though, do not mind and will eat the Hyvill anyway. The Night Stalker, a rival of the Hyvill, won't actively seek out Hyvills, but if pestered by them, the Night Stalker will take action. Young Night Stalkers aren't likely to kill any Hyvills, but the adults of the species have come up with tactics to kill the Hyvill. One way the Night Stalker fights back is by grabbing the head of the Hyvill while stepping on the Hyvill's body. The Night Stalker will then pull until the head is ripped off. After fighting or killing the rest, the Night Stalker is likely to take the body back to its home for later consumption. The Cassavern, like the Hyvill, isn't picky about eating meat, so if they manage to kill one, they will likely consume it immediately. The Kyvern, a small dragon, will bring to the nest of the Hyvill and steal eggs and babies. Because they're so fast and agile, they're likely to get away with 1 or 2 eggs, maybe even some babies. Some more daring and experienced Kyvern will eat and kill multiple eggs and babies before making a run for it. It's possible that the more experienced Kyverns, if they choose to work in a pack, could take down an entire nest of the Hyvill. Although working in groups is not what they normally do. The Hyvill is quite a deadly and determined amphathere, so most others will not go after them. Anyway, that so far is all the research on the Hyvill. So, that was the Hyvill. I spent a total time of 5 hours and 24 minutes on it. Also, if you're interested in what the Night Stalker is or you enjoyed this, make sure to check out part 1 and 2. Also make sure to visit my channel again for part 4. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps motivate me and boost my channel. Anyway, have a good rest of your day, or night.